In my remarks at the opening of the academic year 2 weeks ago, I said we had two choices as a university community. We can keep doing things the same way we did before, which won't change our outlook. Or we can bring forward new ideas, new plans, new measures, putting our students first and thereby ensuring a better future for ourselves. And here's what we're doing today. We're uniting our planning projects and ideas under the direction, under the guidance of our strategic plan. Or to put it differently, it's time to breathe life into the work that we've already done to guide our future. And you, the IUP community, are here, physically or virtually, to do just that. We, and by we, I don't mean myself and the frog in my pocket, I mean a lot of people across the university have been diligently plotting our course as IUP maintains control of its own destiny and builds a bridge to a brighter future. And I'll remind you that IUP is more than students, faculty, staff, and administration. IUP is the alumni who take pride in their relationship with their alma mater. And IUP is the community, broadly, that believes a strong IUP, a strong university here, means a strong local economy and culture, so they invest in us and in what we do. A lot of people have done a lot of heavy lifting to get us this far, and I thank each and every one of you for all of that work. But there's more to do, and that means that all of us need to grab the reins and help steer us forward. I'm excited about this, and I hope that you are too. The fact you are here means you care about more than just today. You care about IUPs tomorrow, and that's something that will benefit our most important resources, our students, now and in the future. As our strategic plan directs, we will put students at the center of all that we do at IUP. Today, you'll be able to see some of the ways we will do this and help us decide how to do things going forward. Scott Moore and Paula Stossel will give you a deeper dive into the strategic plan, which more than 600 people across the IUP community helped to shape. Patty McCarthy will detail the work behind the strategic enrollment plan, and Khatmeh, Osseiran-Hanna will talk about developing the needs assessment for our next campaign, both of which are critical to our financial outlook. And then Lara Luetkehans will share updates on IUP NextGen, the plan to shape our academic offerings for a student-centered future. I really encourage you to invest a little time today learning more about all of it. This afternoon, starting at 1 p.m., you will find more of our colleagues in the Oak Grove, Sutton Hall, and Jane Leonard Hall sharing their work, and you'll see how you can fit into all of it. You might also find some cookies and drinks, I'm told. Well, I think that's probably iced tea and punch, so it's only Thursday. What we're talking about today are really critical plans that will ensure that our days to come are bursting with student success, community cooperation, and incredible alumni achievements. And those are the things that will once again make IUP the flagship of the fleet, put us where we belong. But these plans will work only if we all pitch in. I have confidence that we can do this through teamwork and that we will achieve great things in the process. Before I turn this over to the next speakers, I want to thank Hillary Creeley, Karen Rose Sircone, and Chris Horan for their planning and logistics of today's event. And I also want to thank Tim Moreland and Lara Luetkehans for moving NextGen forward. But most of all, I want to thank each of you for being here, Thank you for showing your interest in IUP's future. And thank you for pitching in your ideas and your work to help us take the next steps in our legacy and our future as a great university. So thank you, and keep the work going. I think that our next speakers are Scott and Paula, and they think so too. So I'm going to ask them to come up as we do the protocols around things. So thank you.
Thank you, President Driscoll, and hello, everybody. Good morning. University Planning Council, or UPC, as many of us call it, we received our charge from President Driscoll in the fall of 2019. He asked our group to develop priorities that will guide the design of a university strategic plan that is focused on ordering all of our resources and all of our work to ensure that each student is successful, both here and after graduation. Our group, which was comprised of faculty, staff, administrators, undergrad students, grad students, we got together and we began to brainstorm what this actually meant. After several long brainstorming sessions, we realized that a lot of themes and a lot of principles began to emerge, and they were common. Ultimately, these became our core principles and our impact areas. We took these core principles and these impact areas out to the community, as Dr. Driscoll mentioned. We started in person, we transitioned to Zoom, as you all can imagine, and we continued on Zoom and continued to gather feedback. The feedback we received from the over 600 students, faculty, staff, university partners we received, we incorporated that into the next draft of our strategic plan. Ultimately, this plan was approved by Council of Trustees. As stated directly in the approved plan, the 2025 strategic plan is designed to transform the culture at IUP to enhance the student experience by fostering exceptional student-centeredness. Transformation will include reordering our resources to ensure that every student is successful and engaged at every point in their journey. This means transitioning to the university while enrolled at IUP and after their time at IUP. The plan by design, you will notice, is shorter than our last. This is intentional. It is meant to provide an umbrella for all of our units and divisions and departments and individuals to roll up into, giving everybody the flexibility that they need to do the work within their areas, but again, moving toward the umbrella that we are all striving toward, which is student-centeredness. Our goal is to help everybody short-term plan and long-term plan using strategic plan. And we did include guidance and examples in that plan, and those details are online, and I know Dr. Moore is going to talk about them in a little bit as well. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Dr. Moore and for him to go into a few more specifics for us. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm a little worried because Paula made it sound like I had a lot to say, and I'm worried what I forgot that I'm supposed to be saying. We're now moving into the more important part of the strategic plan, which is the implementation. That it's all well and good to come up with a plan, but our biggest concern is that we didn't create something that will then be put into a three-ring binder and put on the shelf, and in 5 years dusted off and looked at as our old plan. And so we're really dependent upon assistance from everybody, because this plan is designed for everybody. Our hope is that every college, division, unit, person will use it as a lens to sort of focus their attention on what they're doing. And trust me, as Paula mentioned, we met a lot of you, and we were very impressed with all the great work that people are doing. And so it's not saying you're not doing great work, it's how can we help you do it easier and more effectively, and in some sense, and this is the part that I guess I'm famous for, is how can we help you get the university out of your way? How can we get rid of the stupid things that you have to do that you feel are keeping you from doing your job? That every student is a priority, what can you do in a way that's more efficient and better for the student. And that our job here is in implementation, is to try to see how we can help you achieve that goal. And to that end, what we're doing is we're creating an implementation team that's going to have a couple people in every area, and we're looking for volunteers. So please, after this, if you're interested in participating, please email us, who can meet with you and talk with you. Our goal is not to tell you what to do, but to see how we can help you. What can we do? Who can we put you in contact with? What are you doing that somebody else is doing that you're just not aware of? Because, no offense to the university, our communication both up and down and sideways could be vastly improved, I think, as we all know. And so how can we put people who are doing great things in different areas and doing the same great things, how can we put you together so you can do it even better and reach more students? And so that really is our goal as we move here, that as Dr. Driscoll has always said, every student's priority. We pick impact areas that basically are a student's life. It's being ready for IUP, it's being academically successful, it's maintaining good mental health, it's making professional connections and opportunities, and it's being a great graduate and alumni as they move forward. And so there's nobody at the university or in the community that doesn't cross a student's life at some point. So we can all fit this in. And so we really are asking for your assistance in making that happen. And so if there's any way, Paula and I will be happy to come back and talk to you guys again. We prefer to do it in person in case there's refreshments, because as you can see, I like refreshments. But we'd be very happy to meet you via Zoom. And so once again, please, if you're interested, please email Paula or myself, and we'll be happy to plug you in wherever we can. And so at this point, I want to turn it over to Dr. Patty McCarthy.
I always have to move the microphone down. I'm used to it by now, but thank you, Scott. Thank you, Paula. At the end of 2019, IUP partnered with the consulting firm RNL to begin the creation of IUP's Strategic Enrollment Plan, or SEP, as we affectionately refer to it. SEP is the vehicle for intentional, informed enrollment goal setting and action planning to achieve those goals. SEP considers the entire life cycle of our students, takes into consideration internal and external factors that affect enrollment, and relies on both qualitative and quantitative data to inform action planning. SEP is an overarching, university-wide enrollment plan rather than simply a recruitment plan, and therefore requires the support and collaboration of the entire university community, and it must be a visible partner in other major planning throughout the university. The primary focus of this SEP is student success and transformation. We will help students achieve their dreams of continuing their educations at the academic level they seek, be it undergraduate, graduate, perhaps a certificate program. We will tap into known, vibrant new markets, provide academic programs that are attractive to prospective and current students, offer, promote, and live a culture of belonging, respect, and support, deliver the resources to facilitate students' progress towards their degrees, both academic and financial. That's really an important part of that, and important lifelong tools for their futures. The SEP plan also proposes strategies for demonstrating the value of IUP to a broader audience using an integrated and coordinated effort, including the building of partnerships that strengthen the visibility and reach of the university and provide opportunities for our students as well. As you heard over and over again, as I just summarized the overarching themes of the SEP planning, students are at the center of our work. You did not hear me say numbers of students. You didn't hear me say the size of IUP, but instead ways in which we can provide students at all levels the opportunities they want and the tools they need to succeed in their goals, while keeping the students at the center of all we do is consistent with the university's strategic plan. Interestingly, student-centeredness was the theme that emerged naturally as we moved through the creation of the SEP planning. The road to the creation of the final written SEP plan, which is currently being completed, took a village, as they say, and certainly took some winding turns as we continued to move forward despite the onset of a global pandemic. Maybe a little more slowly than originally intended and using Zoom technology versus sitting around a table talking to each other during meetings, but it continued nonetheless. Led by a steering committee of 25 people with executive oversight from the President's Cabinet, subject areas and key performance indicators, or KPIs, were developed. The subject areas that were used to springboard the creation of the plan and for which key performance indicators were developed included the academic program array, external engagement, finance and affordability, marketing and communications, recruitment, and student success, of course. From each of these subject areas, committees, which included our IUP subject matter experts as well as some alumni, were tasked with completing extensive situation analyses for each area. These analyses were in-depth reviews and included both qualitative and quantitative data-driven research of not only IUP, but of the external landscape as well. The situation analyses were then submitted to the steering committee for review. So as themes emerged from the review of the situation analyses, the strategic and action plans associated with those strategies were developed by the action planning teams. Over 50 members of the IUP community, and probably a lot more as they continue to have to talk with others around campus to solidify the plans, were developed. The result of this excellent and, believe you me, hard work was the creation of the final action plans that were presented to both the steering committee and to the President's Cabinet for prioritization. So the action plans that were approved to move forward into the SEP can be categorized into the following themes. Always put the student experience and student success at the center of our work. We need to continue to address both the changing and unique needs of our students to both grow recruitment and retention at all levels for our students. And that includes taking a look at what our Student Success Center looks like and making sure that we are meeting the needs of students at all levels. Support for marginalized or underrepresented students, both academic and co-curricular. Intentional outreach to our Latinx community and support for the students when they become part of our IUP family. And developing pathways to higher degree programs such as certificate to bachelor's, bachelor's to master's, and master's to doctoral programs here at the university. And consistent with our identity as a doctoral grant and research university, created an institutional model for growth and sustainability in domestic graduate student enrollment. So we needed to rethink the recruitment model for graduate students, make available appropriate types of resources for the recruitment of students depending on the program, establish plans for retention for our graduate students, identify and align program demand and capacity, and establish effective partnerships with other institutions. We also talk about intentional integrated marketing that is reflective and consistent with recruitment goals at all levels, and it's necessary for expansion into new markets, optimizing current markets, and addressing changing demographics. We would want to be highlighting in all cases our student outcomes. And in a collaboration with Moore Cochair and Enrollment Management, integrate all communication, print, digital, traditional mail, text, social, to our core target audiences through a comprehensive recruitment plan for undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs. And finally, promote those student outcomes and transformational stories to strengthen overall brand position for IUP. We need to nurture, current, and expand the IUP network of strategic partners who can be influencers for prospective students, advocates, and mentors for our current students, and be sources of experiential learning and provide opportunities for revenue for the university. So cultivating new and diverse partnerships such as with employers, talent development, curriculum input, economic developers, public leaders, K-12 institutions, community colleges, research partners, students and families, government leadership, and other organizations. Also create alignment with outcomes branding that we talked about from the marketing and communications and with our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives within the SEP. And then capitalize on alumni and leadership roles, increase connections with our community, with our community colleges, our school counselors, superintendents, and principals, students, and families to develop and strengthen the institutional network capacity. And finally, promote affordability by providing financial resources to our students with the cost of education. This includes strategic awarding of scholarships, grants, and assistantships for students to encourage matriculation and to enable students to retain and persist to their graduation. And this includes reviewing all of the costs of education here at the university and seeing if there are opportunities for reductions of those costs, and expanding opportunity for dual enrollment partnerships, which kind of connects both the strategic partners as well as affordability, so that we can have students from local high schools or frankly high schools from anywhere, students from anywhere to come in and be able to start their college educations early at a discounted price. So while the goals, strategy, and action plans within the SEP have been carefully reviewed to provide actionable items within the SEP, it's important to note that they're not meant to imply that there are not other strategies either currently in place or that can be identified in the future to influence our students' success. This SEP plan should be reviewed and considered a dynamic document that can be changed and improved upon as we assess it. Goals, strategies, and action plans, while specific within the document, can be considered launching points for additional or improved tactics that would enhance the overall goal of our students' success. As IUP is currently in the process of creating or implementing various significant strategic plans, including, but not limited to, of course, our overall university strategic plan and IUP NextGen, it's the intention that the SEP plan will act as a complementary document to those plans, integrating where appropriate. The dynamic nature of the SEP plan makes it a natural home for success initiatives from the various plans to create efficiency, reduce redundancy of our work, respect the time and efforts of our colleagues, and promote the campus-wide recognition and adoption of the SEP. The SEP also needs to intentionally integrate the excellent work of the University-wide Retention and Persistence Committee. And of course, we're at the point of, once the written document is put forward, implementation, and then very, very importantly, assessment of the success of the various plans. So finally, I would like to thank you, all my colleagues, for your time and consideration as we move the SEP towards this next implementation phase. Participation of the members of the university community, I don't think I can thank you enough. It's been leveraged by the great work, the thoughtfulness, and again, thinking about our students and how we can continue to support them in any way we possibly can for the university. It's a true spirit of collaboration, innovation, creativity. So I thank you all for that. Thank you. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Vice President Khatmeh Osseiran-Hanna to talk about the needs assessment for the next campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. I don't have to move the microphone. So thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. So I wanted to talk a bit about the success of the Imagine Unlimited campaign, because for the next campaign and the needs assessment, we're really building on the success of Imagine Unlimited, where all of you helped us raise $81.4 million, and we engaged more than 22,000 donors over a span of 6.5 years. But we didn't just do that. We helped more than 8,000 students so far, and because of the growth of the endowment and all of the endowed scholarships, we will be helping students for a long time to come. We also helped with a cutting-edge building that's rising as we speak. We just put the beam up on Tuesday. The last beam has been put up, and the Christmas tree and the flag went up on it. It's an old Dutch tradition, but we can talk about that later. But we also helped put in a literacy center, outdoor learning center, and we kicked off an emergency response fund during the pandemic that helped a lot of students, and that has now converted into a student assistance fund that's permanent, that's helping hundreds of students. And the food pantry also took launch during this campaign. And what's really important about this campaign is the way it engaged the colleges and the deans in particular that really took a major role, like former Dean Luetkehans in the College of Education and deans namely retired now from the Khatmeh College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. And we know that when we finish this campaign, with the university new strategic plan, as Scott and Paula have talked about, and with NextGen, and also our new branding that Markham has been working on, and the facilities master plan, there is really a need to start focusing on a needs assessment, as we all talked about and the President mentioned, for our funding priorities for our next campaign. So the convergence and the intersectionality of all these strategies position us in an optimal place right now, really to talk about what is our next comprehensive campaign going to be for the students and the next generations for IUP. And it involves all of you. And Dr. McCarthy really talked about all of the beautiful ways of how these plans can really work together. So we're really planning a public launch for this comprehensive campaign in 2025, which also happens to be our 150th anniversary. So remember that. That's a really important date, and we've already started planning some things for that. So what have we done so far for the needs assessment? We did have an university leadership retreat in March 2021, and that included the President's Cabinet, all of the deans, most of the deans, and other people who were involved from the provost's office, as well as the athletic director, because we believe athletics is part and parcel of everything that we do as a university. And it included the divisions as well, like administration and finance and student affairs, and other people from student affairs and administration and finance were also involved. That resulted in what one of my colleagues describes as 25 PhDs of needs and priorities identified, as well as assets. Out of that resulted in a first draft that was of about 2-pagers of what those priorities might be, and a couple of themes that really rose to the top in terms of what we might call buckets. And we vetted that with the National Campaign Cabinet. So I don't know if all of you know that, but the campaign had a National Campaign Cabinet of external constituents who were really vested in the Imagine Unlimited campaign and donated at least $1 million or more. And they gave us feedback on those priorities and how we can move forward. The Alumni Association Board as well, we vetted that with them. And the cabinet, the President's Cabinet, and the deans also vetted that. So we went through a second draft, and by yesterday, we had already created a campaign task force, and that campaign task force numbers about 40 people who are nominated and appointed. They're nominated by the division heads as well as the college deans and the athletic director to be members of this campaign task force. And the inaugural meeting was yesterday. And it's really important in a way that it happened, yesterday was a campaign task force meeting. Today we're doing this, and it's very important crosswalking what our priorities are in NextGen and what our priorities are for the needs assessment. So more vetting will continue on happening with the needs assessment as we go forward from what we learned yesterday in this very exciting discussion that we had. We will be doing more vetting with, for instance, the Foundation Board, the Council of Trustees, and other external stakeholders like the advancement councils that we have for each college and the athletic director. And we also have regional advancement councils across the country, for instance, in Houston, in New York, in Washington, D.C., and Punxsutawney. We have a very active Punxsutawney Advancement Council that has a lot of input into what we're doing, for instance, in Punxsutawney. But more importantly, and what I want to focus on here, is that this campaign task force is representative of what us as an internal community is engaged and involved with this assessment and being part of the campaign. So these representatives are going back to their own area to get feedback from you, the IUP community, to know what we are doing and what we need to be doing. The task force is representatives of not just faculty, but also of administrative assistants, of other people in the chain, if you will, and in the hierarchy of IUP. So we need to hear from everybody what are the needs. And I need to underscore that it's all about student-centeredness. I have not gotten into the buckets yet, and I don't know if I'll have time for that, because I could talk about this forever. The 2 minutes haven't gone up. But it is really about your engagement in this process. And Scott talked about that. We need your voice. We need your voice in what this next campaign is going to shape and what it's going to be about. The last campaign, we had a cornerstone of the NSM building, and that was beautiful, and everything else came afterwards. But this campaign, we want it to come from all of us. We want ownership in this campaign. So please participate. And really important and very critical is our community engagement, because IUP is part and parcel of the community we live in, the region we live in, the Commonwealth, the nation, and the world. So we need to think about what transformational impact we will have with this campaign. What are the questions that we need to really think about as we guide our work? What are the hallmarks of an IUP education? What are the characteristics of an IUP graduate? So that really focuses on the strengths of IUP today, the past, bringing the present into the future. It's really important to think about that. I don't want to go to and I did pose that question, and discuss it with the president in the sense that if IUP went away, what would be lost in this community? If we think about that for a second, that's an incredible loss. So we need to really think about those needs assessment in that kind of transformational way on our community and our broader reach and how we work with everybody that we touch. And that's really what the campaign will be about. And I can talk about, the buckets are really about student success, academic excellence, and the well-being of students. That's one bucket, and everything that goes underneath. And the other bucket is really about all of the traditional things that go into the marketability of IUP. And this is that guides the student journey into the university to position us as a leader in the marketplace. And that's what I need you to think more and more about. And as working with Marcom in terms of the branding and cultivating transformation, I'm going to steal this from my colleague for a second, Chris Noah, is that the deep level of intentional engagement and care students receive at IUP fosters impactful changes in students, faculty, the region, and the world. That's the essence of what we are. So it's student-centeredness beyond the classroom with leadership opportunities, engaging alumni in the community, and access to academic excellence. And we are part and parcel of inclusion, diversity, and equity, with building well-rounded citizens of the world, with a foundation for adaptability in the workplace and in life. This is where adaptability meets opportunity and vice versa. And that's what we want to be thinking about as we look at our needs assessment, because that's perhaps our true brand essence, and that's what we're pushing forward. So the second bucket is really about disciplines with student and employer demand, experiential learning, and adaptability in work and life. With that, I really invite you all to give any input that you have as we figure and come up with our needs assessment that we're hoping to bring into a case statement by the end of December, which we will enter into a feasibility study in the spring. And that means that we will start testing it out with some of the donors that we're close to. And then we enter a quiet phase, where we quietly start raising money. And that's when we start working with some of you, if not all of you, to help us with that process. So thank you for everything that you do for IUP. Remember that we're really in a good place with all of our external constituencies who have given us a vote of confidence and continue to do so as they vote with their estate plans, with their dollars continuously. And I'll continue to report and talk with you about that as we proceed forward. And it is now my pleasure to welcome Provost Lara Luetkehans to talk about NextGen transformation. Thank you.
I do have to move my microphone. Well, thank you, Khatmeh. And I am pleased to add my welcome this afternoon to our fall kickoff event, Many Voices, One Future, the Road Ahead for IUP. Today is an opportunity to come together as a community to think about, make sense of, and provide feedback on 3 strategic planning initiatives. The IUP Strategic Plan, focused on student success, the Strategic Enrollment Plan, and the strategic priorities for the next comprehensive campaign, united with our NextGen transformation. IUP NextGen is the foundation to bring these strategic plans to implementation. Through IUP NextGen restructuring, we have created new alignments to strengthen our academic disciplines and commitment to student success. The focus of last year's work had to be about the immediate logistics. The complexity of our enterprise was made clear as the Phase 1 Steering Committee and Transition Task Force teams grappled with the technical elements of making these changes. Despite the incredible work of the groups and their foresight, there are still a few details and issues that arise and need to be addressed. But given the significant changes that we made, they are minimal, and we are working through those with the various offices across campus. But IUP in NextGen, in the transformational sense, is about the future, about how we as a community realize our strategic plan goals. The NextGen Phase 2 Coordination Councils have been working since last spring on conceptualizing just that. The NextGen Councils are a large and diverse group of our colleagues, organized by a smaller leadership team. Each council has been charged with examining and imagining IUP's future around one of the following areas. Student support is re-envisioning academic and student support services for all students. NextGen Campus is exploring what the NextGen Campus looks like in terms of space and modality. Budget planning is focused both on the immediate transition to NextGen, but also how to align budget with strategic priorities. Core curriculum is focused on refreshing our general education program with a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And finally, future initiatives is taking stock of our strengths and resources in order to recommend future programs and research initiatives. The outcome of each council's work will be a white paper or a set of recommendations to be presented to the University Senate and then President Driscoll and his cabinet. By design, these groups were established to be representative of our community, but they don't represent every voice. So today, each coordination council, along with the other strategic plan areas, are inviting you to participate in gallery walks or other modes of input to talk with them about their ideas thus far and to share your ideas and feedback. We want to hear from as many voices as possible this afternoon, students, faculty, staff, and managers across all divisions. Your feedback and ideas will inform the work ahead for these groups. The spaces in the Oak Grove, which is primarily for students, and the Blue Room, which is primarily for faculty, staff, and managers, are open throughout the afternoon to engage with members of the council and the ideas that they're putting forth. Each council created an interactive opportunity for you to share your thoughts. You can drop in, as has been said, for as long as you like and visit as many councils and strategic plan areas as you like. And as President Driscoll already mentioned, there's some refreshments, Scott, so we'll see you there. And I understand there's also a raffle, right? Opportunity for raffle. So lastly, I want to mention that today's kickoff events, after today's kickoff events, but maybe it came out this morning, is a survey. And the survey is directly connected to the coordination councils. They generated the questions to solicit input from all of you. This is very focused, and it's, again, driven by their questions. So open-ended feedback and ways of contributing to their work is really through the interactions this afternoon. The survey is much more targeted, but please, we want you to participate in both. And before I wrap up, I want to add to my thanks for the work that was done to organize today. Karen Rose Sircone and Chris Corin, she's here, I haven't get a chance to see her, but they both worked together to bring the organization to this afternoon's events. And Karen Rose Sircone and Hillary Creeley, who worked so hard on the NextGen task force, co-chairing that task force. And so finally, I want to also thank the leads and the members of all the coordination councils who invested a great deal of time and good thinking in bringing the ideas and opportunities to explore those with you today. So finally, welcome to the afternoon's events. Are we afternoon yet? Did we make, yes? Yep. I look forward to the sense of community we realize today as we engage in setting the course for IUP's future. Thank you. And I don't know, okay, so at 1 o'clock, the interactive sessions will begin, as I mentioned, in the Oak Grove and in the Blue Room. There are some targeted focus groups in Leonard Hall, the HSS building, and but those were by invite. So those aren't for browsing, those are by invitation. But please take your time to mill around and interact with folks. Karen Rose, is there anything you wanted to add in terms of logistics? Okay, again, thank you and enjoy the afternoon.